and more showing. So let me see if I can show this easy. Okay, so I think this is the way. Let me see. Why does this not show? I'm not sure. Let me try something else. This is the beauty about doing something live. It never goes well, you know. So here we go. This is the beautiful file that Irene put together, and it shows you a little bit more of what they are looking for, right? So you might already have something that fits in this fashion editorial, in this 3D digital fashion editorial, or you might want to actually make something new because this inspires you. I find it personally very inspiring what you put together, Irene. Would you mind sharing a little bit more about it? Like, what were your thoughts and how you reframed the theme of air for your fashion editorial?
That would be me.
Yes.
Hi, everyone. Okay. I am Irene, ADF founder. Nice to meet everyone. Okay, so I will just be brief. I would say that what we had in mind when we heard about Alana Air was how to connect this year's theme for ADF's exhibition this year, which was reclaim, digitize, and preserve. How you can bring textures and bring silhouettes from the past that have gone into extinction and digitalize them in order to preserve them. That is basically what we're aiming for. So we decided to merge with Alana Air, which was, basically fluidity and, add something abstract, what you can think of and how we can connect it to our year's theme. And I think we did just that. It blends together very, very beautifully. I don't even think there is a much better sync that we would have found. And it was so amazing. So basically this year's theme is to bring together all the silhouettes from the past, digitalize everything, and then see how we can connect it in Alana Air. And I think we did that beautifully. So the concept would be to see how we can merge everything and bring together this year's exhibition and also the competition.
I saw your mood board and the images. I was like, oh my God, I wish I could participate in your fashion editorial. That's what I thought. But the truth is I know way too less. So I'm really happy you made it about something super specific to your community, which is amazing because I remember when I was studying fashion design, aside from the library, I think no one is surprised to hear I'm a total bookworm. I spent most of my time in the fashion history department, which was all about preserving ancient pieces of fashion, and it's just a really beautiful thing to do. And using basically what we're doing today, like using blockchain to do it, gives you the true foundation to do this without platforms, without permission, and with just like the best way possibly you could do it, right? So that's quite exciting. So I guess I'm gonna jump into how we're gonna do this. And by the way, for those of you who are watching this right now, I'm also gonna add this link at a later point to the video descriptions, but you also might want to check this link out because this webinar board is always something that we share. So you can kind of like follow along or read along if you wanted to. So we already did the announcements, right? We showed you why we're doing this. So I quickly want to hop into short explainer as to like what are smart contracts, right? So smart contracts are essentially little mini programs that are being hosted on chain. On chain means on a blockchain. And no, there's no such thing as the blockchain, but there are multiple blockchains out there at this point. I think over 1,200 or something like this. So it's pretty crazy out there. It's a jungle, someone I know would say. And so these mini programs, they're programmed in a way that up on a user agreeing to it, they self-execute. So they only need one side to sign an agreement because the other side has already predefined the agreement, right? And so if you think about it, like you might have heard about NFTs before, non-fungible tokens, they're also based on smart contracts. So an NFT is not like a random other thing that's happening somewhere else. It's essentially the same thing, right? Based on the same type of technology. So now you might have heard about NFTs as being art specific or, you know, helping people to sell art on the blockchain. Well, this is what we're doing today. That's true. We're using a smart contract, essentially an NFT sun, to actually bring art on chain, right? It can be used for numerous other things. It could be used to actually sign contracts, right? It could be used for memberships for Phygital products. So if you're a jewelry designer and you produce physical goods, right, you might want to use the blockchain to actually permissionlessly and verifiably issue your certificates with you for your jewelry, right? It's much stronger than giving people a piece of paper that no one can really verify, if you think about it, right? You can do a bunch of different things. If you are interested to go deeper into this, I recommend, and this is, like, we have some people knocking on our doors here. Okay, I'll let you in. Chavo is coming in, Eric is coming back, it's fantastic. So anyways, point is, there's a lot of different things you can do by using smart contracts, right? And so what we're doing today, it needs a little bit of preparation. So if you're out there and you want to try this, don't worry, it will not cost you an arm and a leg, it will cost you cents, right? These days, not before. Before it was very expensive, now it costs cents. So we have made some advancements in the space. And so you need to prepare a few things. You need to think about, like, what are you trying to sell or what are you trying to give a person, right? Who will get it? For how long will it be accessible to them, right? So if you think about it, a membership might have, you know, a point where it terminates automatically, right? So maybe the membership is for 30 days or for a year, right? While a certificate is something that you give someone because they have concluded, for example, a course, right? So it will stay with them because they have indefinitely, you know, concluded that course with you. So these things you need to consider when you think about designing your smart contract. You need to think about how many of these are available, right? Which blockchain are you going to put them on? You will need to prepare a little graphic, preferably something between 512 by 512 or 1080 by 1080 pixel. So if you think about Instagram, for the longest time ever, 1080 by 1080 was the standard. Now it's not anymore. But think in social media terms, because the more you make this accessible, the easier it will be for blockchains to digest all your information. You will need a crypto wallet. Yes, that's something you will need because you're signing a transaction to upload your contract on chain, right? Meaning you will need a crypto wallet and you will need a tiny bit amount of gas. Gas fees are essentially what keeps the blockchain safe and incorruptible. So it's not really optional to not have any, right? So your transaction will otherwise keep on failing. And then, you know, prepare a short description. So what is this about? And you will see in a bit when I run you through this step by step on screen, you will also have a space for like metadata text and I want to say text that help people find your things, right? That you can add to that smart contract as well. So before I, you know, run my mouth dry here, we're just going to jump into this and doing this. And Irene, Yemi, I know, Eric, you probably all know about this already, but if you have any questions at any point, just feel free to interrupt and, you know, poke me with questions. That's fair, fine, fair enough. Okay, so as you can see, right, first screen is just the user interface of Unlock Protocol. You might be wondering why using Unlock Protocol. Unlock Protocol is the most accessible, most open, because it's open source, and also the most flexible smart contract suite for creators that I have found out there. That's also the reason I joined the community about 2 years ago. Of course, there's Manifold. Of course, there are other tools out there, right? I'm just saying from the flexibility this provides to us as creators, it's unparalleled in my opinion, because what was an event once, you can turn into a membership, right? We made this experiment with people who actually decided to come to this event, and we sent out this this event ticket, right? And people minted it, which was fantastic to see that it was so easy for people to engage with that they just minted it. And Chavo is maybe back. Let's see. No, he isn't. Yes, he is. Yeah, we're busy. So what I'm doing now is I'm just connecting my wallet. I'm personally using Rabi wallet. I switched from MetaMask to Rabi because I feel Rabi is more intuitive and gives more user functionality that is like easier to access, but is up to you. There is not really like any, they all will work is what I'm trying to say. Doesn't matter which one it is. You will need to sign twice. And then you get to a dashboard. Your dashboard will look nothing like mine. Your dashboard will look absolutely empty. You will not even see these layer 2 blockchains on here, right? You will see absolutely nothing. So the only choice you really have is click on this little, well, it's not very little, big purple button that says create lock. So in the Unlock language, locks are smart contracts and keys are the NFTs minted on top of a smart contract, right? This is how this works. So then you're already presented with different options. So now it's up to you, right? Do you want to use a very specific use case? Then you get also very specific settings that you're presented with. So for example, if you want to create an on-chain subscriptions, you might need to think about more detailed things than if you're selling an event ticket or if you're doing a certification on-chain. If you want to do something very custom, which we do want to do, right? We want to bring some art on-chain, or you might want to do, like a certificate could also be used for jewelry, but you could also just use a membership, because a membership gives you the most minimal primary setup, right? But you can still edit everything else after the fact. So this is the cool thing. All of these contracts, they are editable on chain, which means at any point, right, you want to edit details, you will be able to do that, which is kind of really cool. So we usually do not recommend, and Eric is back. It's like, this is like show house here. Okay, so you have these fields only to fill out, okay? So it's very minimal. So we're not going to use Ethereum because Ethereum is so freaking expensive and it does not really make sense to put necessarily, an art piece on Ethereum. So we could use something that's right now very popular, or we can just use what Stella likes. Since I'm doing it, I'm just going to do what Stella likes. Stella likes optimism. And then we're going to call this ALANAmagazine X Announce Digital Fashion Submission. Okay. In your case, of course, you should give it the name that your art is supposed to have, right? Not something like this. Then we can set a membership duration, which in this case we do not want because we're selling a piece of art minted on top of a contract indefinitely to someone, right? So we're keeping this unlimited. Number of memberships for sale, that's up to you. What's the rarity of your artwork, right? That's something you can define. I recommend if you're going with scarce in the beginning, stick with it. Don't edit this later, right? You can edit event tickets later. That's fine. Doing this to something that you primarily sold as scarce and then sell more on top of it, that's really shady. So don't do that, okay? So in our case, we're going to go with, I don't know, let's say 10, right? It doesn't matter. And here it becomes quite interesting. So you can either use one of these like popularish currencies, right? Or you can actually paste a contract address from an existing ERC20 token. So any cryptocurrency out there. So let's just say, I don't know, maybe you're a part of a local community that has, you know, a token, right? A cryptocurrency token. And you want to support them. And you just say, well, just pay me in that currency because I want to support them, right? You can do that. You just paste the contract address in here. If you don't know where to get contract addresses, that's fair enough. You can go to coingecko.com, for example. It's one of many pages. And, you know, you could go to, it's just, I don't know. I'm not, by the way, I'm not recommending any of these, right? It's just, it doesn't matter. But point is, smart contract platform, where's the address? Oh, did they shift this? Please don't. What? Scan. Wallets ledger. Oh. Chains. 8 more. Okay, let's use something different. That's freaking complicated. Why is this so complicated? Since when has this become so complicated? Source code API categories. Did they ban the contract from here? Worst case, I guess you have to ask your community where the original contract is. Interesting. Unless I'm not seeing it, which is a possibility as well. Token view ETH Explorer. There used to be a field that said just contract, and then you could copy the contract. I guess they got rid of it. Not too bad. Okay. Anyways, point is contracts are usually out there of different cryptocurrencies, and you may as well just paste it in here to find the cryptocurrency exactly that you want people to pay with. Now, here's the good news. Even if you set this to something that no one knows, Unlock actually allows you to do cross-chain payments, which means whatever you have in your wallet is usually going to get accepted by Unlock. So people don't need to buy specifically your cryptocurrency to actually get your artwork. So while you keep on supporting your local community by using their cryptocurrency, on the back end of things, people can just buy the cryptocurrency they already have in their wallets. Okay, we're going to make this not very expensive, just for the sake of demonstration. And then we click next. And so this is already where we are, okay? This is the base layer of our smart contract, as crazy as this is, honestly. So I think this looks good, right? We gave it a network that we like. We gave it a title. We set the membership duration to unlimited. We set 10 maximum pieces that we're selling. And then we're saying currency and prices to USDC, effectively $2. Then we click on looks good to me. And then my wallet is loading. And I hope you see the transaction. Yeah, you see the transaction. Okay, and here we go. So this is now taken care of in the sense of I signed the transaction. So, and here we are. Your contract is already uploaded to the Optimism blockchain, and we can start managing it. So, I don't know, Irene, wasn't crazy, right?
No, it wasn't. I was trying to follow it, even with the form. No, it wasn't.
Yeah, so the truth is, it sounds a lot more complicated because these things have names that are not very familiar to us as creators, but it's not complicated at all. Now it gets a little bit more tricky though. Fair warning, a little bit more tricky. So we have our contract, it's basically already there, okay? But we might want to make some changes to it. Okay, and I will quickly show you and run you through some changes you might want to make. So first of all, well, as well intended as this generated thing here is, this is not the image we wanted to have, right? So we're going to go to the metadata editor. The metadata editor is very different from what happens actually on the blockchain, or on the Optimism blockchain in this case, right? The metadata editor is literally metadata. It's nothing that gets submitted to the blockchain, right? This is information that's very readable to any type of like Web2 application. So if you think OpenSea, Foundation, Rarible, right? This is the type of data they can all read as much as they want, right? It's just metadata. It's nothing fancy, but for us as creators, it's very fancy because it allows us to actually put images in there, right? So now I will also show you the difference. So as you can tell now, this will only accept square images. This is why I said we need to prepare square images, right? That's really important. So let's just say I wanted to make this a square, then I would need to add a border or something, right? And this would show up in the middle. But for now, let's just actually use because by the way, this is also something you can change later on, which is kind of nice. So you're not stuck with this image indefinitely. So if at some point you feel like before you publish it, you feel this is not quite the image that you thought you wanted to have going with this, then fair enough, you know, just use something else. That's okay too. So let me just find something in my download folder. I should have probably prepared something that is a little bit more fancy, but I forgot about that. So how about we use this? This is an Unsplash thing. Unsplash is great for these kind of things. Yay! And Yummy is back. Okay, so this looks pretty. Let's go with this one. So now you have a predefined description here. I recommend you adjust this, right? What's cool about this, depending on which type of lock you selected in the beginning, you might want to play with something that's called Markdown. Markdown is a way to edit and enhance, you know, web-based text formats. So you can create headers and bold text and, you know, all of these kind of things. For the membership and for the way we're going to distribute it as an art piece, it's not really necessary. But you might want to, you know, add to the description. It's ADF submission. Please design something beautiful. I don't know. Right, this is up to you. So you can make this quite elaborate if you wanted to. The other thing is, you know, you might want to add your website to this, right? You might want to add a certification feature to it, which I don't think, you know, in this case is applicable. You can add more advanced things here, like a YouTube URL connected to that. You can also, by the way, any type of image formats are accepted, meaning you can also add GIFs or GIFs, right? So you can add something that is animated, but low-key animated. So no MP4 files, sorry. And then you can add custom features. This is where, you know, meta tags come in very handy. So you could say, like, you know, edition. In this case, it's the air edition, right? And then you can add another property that does something else and add that. And then all of these tags, they get stored in the metadata of the smart contract, right? So we're going to save this. So if you think about properties, you can think of it as if you've ever, you know, bought a PFP profile picture on OpenSea or something like this. They usually come with traits. So for example, pink hair, blue hair, black hair, right? That is what this is essentially. And then if you think about it for gaming, right, and gaming features, then, you know, you might want to add levels to it as well. So if, you know, a specific property has a specific like power, for example, let's say, you know, your property is a sword, right? And then the level of the sword is, I don't know, automatically 10 or 20 or something like this, right? You can add these things as well. But again, for the art piece, not really necessary at this point. This will always take a little bit to load because it's stored in IPFS, which translates to interplanetary file system. I know Web3 terminology just is cute, but it also sucks. I'm sorry for that. I did not invent it, obviously. And yeah, so essentially, point is it gets stored there, so it takes a minute to load up here, right? So if you're impatient like me, just hard refresh your website on a computer. It's Control-Shift-R, and you will see it quite instantly. And you can see already some more data has been added here, right? The proper description, our website we added, so we're getting there. Then you have 2 more purple buttons. Purple buttons are always a good sign. Means you can change more stuff, okay? So you have settings and you have tools. We're first going to go to settings. Settings, all of these properties you can change, but they require you to sign another transaction, and that comes with a tiny bit of gas fee, right? But it changes the contract on contract level, so meaning on blockchain level. So for example, if you suddenly decide the name sucked, then fair enough, you can change the name, right? What you can add, what I usually do with everything that we do in Alana, I give it a unique ticker symbol. So if I'm using analytical dashboards, I will always be able to identify Alana quite instantly. So you could, for example, Announce Digital Fashion could think about, adding an ADFW, for example, right, to some of their items and ADF to some of their other items, because that gives them a clear distinction when they sort out data from like Onchain, essentially. So that's helpful. Here we can decide, the authorization to transfer. So for example, if you're doing a certificate, you might want to make sure someone cannot just send that certificate to another person, right? So you might want to make transfer impossible, so it's soul-bound. That's the wording for it, right? You can set the duration. So again, think about memberships, right? They usually come with an expiration date. You can change the quantity. Again, don't do it if you're promoting with scarcity. Don't artificially then add items to it. That would be mean. Then maximum number of keys per address. So for example, for the ticket that we had for this event, I made sure that it's only 1. So people can only mint 1, because it doesn't make sense to hold 10 of these tickets in your wallet, right? And you can also decide on, cancellation terms. So if it's a membership, you can do that as well. So don't want to go too deep into this, but as you can see, there is a lot of things you can add to this and change and adjust even after the fact of creating that smart contract on chain. The only person who will ever have that power is you, your wallet, no one else, right? Unlock can't do it, I can't do it, no one else in the world can do it. Only this wallet, my wallet, can change this contract. No one else can. That is what makes this so incredibly powerful. And what makes it even more powerful is the fact that you're not even depending on the Unlock platform to do it. It's a little bit of a deeper step. Maybe we go this in another webinar. Maybe we won't, we will see. But the point is, you do not even need the Unlock protocol platform to do it. It just makes it more convenient, easier to manage, right? Especially if you're new. So for example, if I wanted to give Irene access to the same contract, I can do that, right? So if Irene gives me her wallet, you paste it here, I can say add, and she becomes an equal manager of this lock, then I have the power. But this is up on your discretion, right? So by nature, only you will have access. So my recommendation, if you're doing this, right, make sure you're doing this with a wallet that you will, you make sure is not easily something that gets compromised. We can dive a little bit deeper into that, because I had this happen to me after 6 years in this space, or it's almost 7 at this point. My wallet got hacked last year. And, well, I had a lot of contracts attached to that wallet. And so I've made it a new practice to add a safe wallet to all of my contracts, to ensure that if one wallet gets hacked, I can still go into these contracts and set a new wallet, right? So you might want to consider if these contracts are not just made on a whim and they're actually meaningful and they will be with you for in forever, right? Then maybe make sure to add another managing wallet to it that belongs to you, if that makes sense. And great tools are, like, for example, something that I use is Safe Global, which is essentially, it's a multi-sig. Essentially, it's also a software wallet, but it means more than one wallet has to sign a transaction, right? So all the things that I find, they should be very accessible to me at any time. So not on a hardware wallet, because a hardware wallet is not something that I carry with me all the time, right? But they should be very accessible, but they should also be stored very securely. This is when I use the Safe, and I sign it with 3 different software wallets that I own. It's a little bit of a new tricky setup of mine, a little bit nerdy, I agree, but keeps your stuff safe, right? Okay, cool. Well, now you know this, Irene, any questions? I don't know. Are you okay so far?
Yes, so far I am okay. I'm just when you're going, I'm just trying to see how it can benefit my community immensely. Because this is new, and there is nothing like this, in my community. So I'm thinking of how to actually engage them with this, because I feel like once they get a hang of it, they would love it, because they need to implement this in their designs. So I've just been thinking of how I can engage them with this and see how I can make it easier for them. But so far I understand everything. I don't have any questions, but if I do, I would let you know.
Awesome, this is good news. Okay, I think once you did it once, to be honest, after that you're like, oh, okay, I guess this is how it works. So and as you do more things with it, you will also realize what other possible problems it can solve for you, right? So now let's make this thing applicable, because right now it's just this contract, and like, how can Irene get this wonderful artwork from me, for example, right? It's like, yeah, it lives on chain, and we can look at it here, and it looks super complicated, and we're closing this again because it's scary. So not very applicable at this point. So this is what tools is for, okay? Tools gives you different options. So again, if you think about, a certificate, for example. So let's say you're teaching a digital fashion course, right? And you want to make sure people own a certificate upon completion. Then you might want to consider airdropping that certificate to them, which is nothing else but just sending the certificates to them. Airdropping is just sending, right? And
so you don't need an artwork for this, no?
You don't need an artwork for this, no.
Okay.
Technically, you don't, right? It looks nicer if it has one, but you don't. So you could airdrop this, or I could airdrop this. I don't know, Irene, do you have your wallet accessible? If you have, you can send me your wallet address, and I will just airdrop it quickly to you. Only if you do, no stress. Oh. Pilots. I'm reading the comments right now. My practice involves both physical silver gelatin prints and digital NFTs. Can a no-code platform handle hybrid works? Yeah, it can handle hybrid works. It's not really a problem. But if you're doing it very by the books, you would need to add an additional piece of technology to it, like an NFC chip or something that comes with your artwork and that connects this specific contract with it. I think that would be the optimal solution. Everything else is a little bit tricky. In an artwork, in a silver gelatin print artwork, I could imagine if you use a chip that is there are like these NFC chips that are made for textiles. So if this is like sealed in the canvas, I feel that would be the ideal version of it. But it can absolutely be done. And the serial number of this chip could be added as a property to this contract for ideal verification, meaning you could make it extremely secure by doing that. I mean, everything can be hacked, as we now know. So I guess there is that. Anyways, yes. Do you have your wallet?
No, it's on this device, not on this one, so I can't.
Oh, damn it. Okay. No, we don't want you to go away. No problem. So point is, right, you add the wallet address here. You can airdrop NFTs to an email address. In my opinion, is not the most ideal thing to do, right? But you can do it, which is the point. So fair enough. This is one option, okay, on how you can get your NFTs based on your contract out there. But now we want people to buy your artwork, right? We don't want to send this for free. So what we have to do is we have to use this feature, checkout URLs. That's something that I use basically all the time for a lot of different things. And I don't know why it also always autofills my, I don't know why this happened. So let's just make a new one here, yeah? Because we're designing this piece of like mini technology that you will be able to embed into your beacons page, into your link tree, into your, in the bio of your TikTok account, into your website, you name it, right? And this is how we're making this accessible. This is awesome. So ADF X ALANAmagazine, okay. So this is how we're doing this. And then we're going to use this here as a title as well. We can also change the icon. So remember, Irene, we made this like little graphic for announcing our partnership. We could use that because it has both of our logos, which is kind of nice. So sorry for switching over, guys, but sometimes we need to do some switching here. So here's the artwork. So maybe it works. I don't know if it fits in the little space that we have there, but we might as well try it. So now let me see. Here we go. I'm not sure if this works, but might as well. Oh, look, we made it both in here. That's cute. Then you can set a referral address. By nature, it will always be your wallet address. In this case, it's mine. You can set a redirect URL. So before I used Announce Digital Fashion. So before I used ALANAmagazine, now I'm using yours. So at the end of this menu, it will say like go back or something like this, right? Like whatever you define here, and that will actually bring people back to your website. So you can set all of these things, then you go next. And this is where you can add the log we just made or any other log, right? This is honestly, this is entirely up to you. You can add more than one contract that people can mint from into the same model. It can be confusing though, so I would handle that with care. You can also force people to add their email, right? Again, up to the people, like up to you to decide if the people you want to sell to, right, would want to share that type of information. Then you click done, and then we go next, and then we copy this URL. And I'm putting it here in the private chat, so Irene and Yemi and Eric can access this. But I'm also opening this up in another window to show you how this looks like. So essentially, it's just this little module that, you know, pops up, tells you the price, tells you the title, tells you how many are left, right? And the next step, it essentially, this is such a neat thing. I don't know what's happening with my Rabby wallet. Works everywhere else fine, just not here. Super weird. So yeah, Rabby wallet. So signing in here. Then, you know, again, right, we asked it to force email address provision. So I guess here you go. If you want to ever write to me, this is how you can reach me live on the internet. And this is when you are presented with payment methods, right? So in my case, I actually don't have any USDC on Optimism. So I told you, right, it allows you to do cross-chain payments. So it says like, hey, but you have some Ethereum on Arbitrum and you have some Ethereum on Optimism, and that's enough to pay for this, right? So now I can use whatever I want here, right? And pay with what I have, which is very, very convenient. So I'm just gonna, I don't know, I'm just gonna pay with this because why not? And signing the transaction. Proving, and then I will have my super duper beautiful NFT that I bought just for myself, which makes absolutely 0 sense, but I hope you get the meaning behind all of this. The point is that this URL is omni-accessible. So if we're going to, beacons right now, which is like essentially the Alana link tree we use, right? And you can do this on your Wix website builder, or you can do this with vibe coding these days, or you can do this with whatever, right? There is not really a restriction to any of this. So if I'm going to sign in here, this is my my LinkedIn bio thing. Let me show you. So this is how this looks like. This is kind of my link tree situation, right? So let's just say, right, I want someone to actually buy this from me. Then I just, maybe I go in here and I say, change this a lot. You see, images, right? So let's just say I want to select an image that I put in here, and then adding the new image. Where's our beautiful image that we just added here? Look at this, so pretty, so pretty. So adding a new image, and then I can add a image link to this, and I can add, I don't know, a title like "Buy this beautiful artwork." Yeah, and I guess we're done by saying just that, and then we should pull this up, see it as well. And then if I reload this page, technically it should show up first thing, right? Buy this beautiful artwork, then it comes with the link, and it sends you right to the checkout experience from Unlock. So if you think about it in terms of the Alana magazine, first of all, what we're going to do is we incorporate QR codes in the magazine so people can buy from your link directly, right? That's one thing. The other thing is that we haven't really discussed this much between the both communities, right? Our two communities. But the other idea is essentially that we can host your links on our websites, essentially like mini stores, right? So also outside the magazine. And you will be able, of course, to host this on your link tree, on your website, on whatever you want to do, right? So the idea is making your artwork or your creation as accessible to people who are willing to buy this as possible, and not censor it to one medium, for example, just ALANAmagazine, or just the Announce Digital Fashion website, or just the ALANAmagazine website, right? So the idea is to make your creation as accessible as possible and position it where your community is. Anyways, I cannot talk anymore. So please, Irene, take over. Take over from me.
Okay, I literally followed every step. Thank you so
proud of
much.
you.
Thank you so much. I wanted to make sure I followed every step so I don't start to ask. I don't fall behind. But thank you so much. Thank you to your team. Thank you to everyone who is streaming. I hope we have many more of these webinars to come. Yeah, it was very, very informative, and thank you for taking your time to show us step by step on how to do this. And I hope people watching this can see how to apply this to their digital artworks.
Yeah, I hope so too. It just puts power back where it should be with the creators, right? And it does not make it platform specific, which I think is so important, because I don't know how you guys are feeling these days, but I feel it's become almost impossible to reach people on social media. And by decentralizing content in a way, right, or products even, I feel like accessibility becomes less reliant on platforms and more on connections that you have made, right? Artists make connections all day, all night, right? We're usually, well, we're probably all very introverted in a way, but we also have an extroverted side to ourselves when it comes to talking about our creations. And yeah, doing that feels like the right thing to do. I wanted to give like two more things on the way about, you know, ownership and safety. So as you saw, this is really dependent on your wallet, right? There is no recovery. If you lose access to your wallet, those contracts will no longer be yours, is the truth, right? Ruby Wallet can help with that. So I recovered some of my contracts through Ruby Wallet by setting up something that's called a gas account, but it's very inconvenient to do that. So again, I urge you, if it's important things that you're doing here, right, things that you want to have access to indefinitely, then make sure you're securing it well. So add the second managing wallet to it, right? So you have two in charge, not just one. It helps. So you have a fallback. Then, you know, obviously don't expose your secret key phrase to anyone. I fell for a social engineering scam. They are so elaborate these days. You wouldn't even believe it. These are the people who are doing this. They're a genius in a way. You know, they are truly are a genius in a way. And it's, you know, it's become easier to fall for them. I just had another person coming to me yesterday because of the post that I made back like a few months ago on Twitter about this. And he was like, damn, like they ripped me out of like 5K and I didn't even know what was happening, right? So it's, you know, it happens to the best of us, is the truth, right? They ripped me off for even more, right? So it's really bad out there. So you really need to make sure you really need to make sure to protect yourself, right? It gives you true ownership, this tech, but it also exposes you to other risks, right? So you have to make sure that you're in control and you handle the risks well. And yeah, take it from me, it was not an inexpensive lesson to be learned. So okay, I think I went through all the steps. Yemi, do you have any questions?
Amy, do you have questions? I don't.
Me, no, this is our space. This is familiar territory for me. I know it's new for the community because, I mean, these decentralized spaces, like you said, it's just, you know, all starting. There's still so many bad players in the market. You know, it's still this crypto. I mean, the world out there is not really good when it comes to the cryptocurrency and everything that we do. But because we've been in it and we understand the value, and we know that we can tie intrinsic value to these things, that's all we're trying to do. I know the community is still, you know, very unsure about how to go about it, but honestly, this is the decentralized world that we're hoping that our creatives can tap into, especially creatives within the third world countries. I know they call it third world. I don't think we're third world anymore anyways. I think we're now getting to that point where we are the ones that are, you know, adopting the technologies faster, but still there's still a lot of things that we need to be able to understand, integrate, start adopting, so that we can start to show the rest of the sectors that this is it, you know, this is what we're talking about. And I think this is an amazing opportunity for the community to start to decentralize their earnings as well and protect it, because then there's no government, whether or not there's inflation, doesn't matter. Yes, the crypto space is still being highly manipulated. You know, the market is still being manipulated with the rise and fall of the Bitcoin, but we know that it's going to get steady. The purpose of this is still good. So that's why I'm always backing up the Web3 space. Like I know it's bad right now, but it's gonna get better. It is what it is. This is how technology is. Eventually, we get to that point where humanity is able to use it for good. Of course, there will always be bad players. So I just want to tell our community to breathe. I know there's a lot of information that came today, and there's a lot of ooh, but calm down. It's getting easier. I mean, Stella, it is getting easier, right? I know what it took to put the MetaMask wallet how many years back, and so it's getting easier. It looks a little gibberish, but we'll get there. And let's just pilot a little bit of projects with the Alana Air and see how we go.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all we
Yeah,
can do. We
and
can only
I
just
think it's
adopt and
interesting
adapt, right?
for you to mention that. I think it's interesting for you to mention that, Yemi, because if you look at the theme for both the air and the exhibition for this year, it is to reclaim and digitalize, right? So you're bringing back textures that have gone, you're bringing back fabrics that have gone, you're bringing back silhouettes that have gone. I think it's very important that you have something like this to actually keep that ownership for someone who might be able to popularize it again, especially in digital space.
Exactly.
So I would highly recommend that you, as you work on this project, please just keep your ownership so that you can always have them.
That's actually a very good point you're making, that, this is about heritage, right? Your whole fashion editorial is about heritage. And it fits very well with ownership, because if we're being fairly honest, a lot of heritage has been lost throughout the centuries because it was stolen from the people they originally owned it, right? And now here we have a chance to do it better.
Preach.
Sorry, I did not mean to preach, but
no, go for
anyway.
it. I'm here for all that preaching. Yes. Yes.
It's just not right? It's like, if a museum in London wants to exhibit Egyptian art, then just borrow it from the Egyptian museum.
Yes.
Exactly, because that's how they are doing it. So why cannot do? I mean, a lot of work is being done also in that direction. I know a lot of people, thank God, think like me, and I've been working on restoring some of that heritage to the original owners. But I still feel it's not enough. I still feel we cannot lose focus on pushing for those things, right? Just because there are like also other things that need our focus, we cannot let go of these things at the same time. So I think
you can just create and put it on the internet for anybody to just copy. You need to make sure you own
right?
Work.
Yeah, exactly.
And credit.
So anyways, exactly. So I'm super excited to see what your community comes up with. I wasn't sure if you already had time to put up a submission form. I have one up right. You have? Okay, then
it's on our website. I think that's the first thing you see on our website. It's already.
Oh, really?
Awesome.
Damn, okay. That is fantastic. Eric did a good job. ALX Alana Air Competition. You're fantastic. Okay, that's
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you, Eric. Oh, this looks beautiful. Look at him.
You're very welcome.
That was awesome. Yeah, wait. Let me quickly share this. I wanna show this because it's so beautiful. Can it be seen right now? Can you guys see it? Yeah.
Yes.
It's super beautiful. So if you're on the main website of Announce Digital Fashionweek.com, right, and you can click right here. Super accessible, and look at all these beautiful. Did you do this with GASP libraries, Eric? This looks so fancy. I feel
you can even download my brief on there. Like when you go to the first, you can go back there. You can just click on download brief, and then you see all the details of.
Look at Irene going like, you can just download. You can just click that button. Love it.
You can.
I love it.
This looks fantastic. Okay. Chavo, I know you're somewhere in the audience. Can you make screen grabs of this and push this out on socials? Thank you. This looks so pretty. I'm excited. Okay. Oh, you look at this. I love animations like this. They just make me go all drooling over websites. Anyways, this looks fantastic. So I will add this link.
Is the creative brain.
Yeah. This is what I'm talking about.
Your right brain is like very, very happy right now. Like, yes.
I feel like I'm on a little bit of drugs right now. Okay. Anyways, I'm going to add this link to the video description, and then hopefully we will see a lot of awesome submissions. Can you tell people again what's the deadline?
June, right? I think it's June.
June?
Confirm, so I don't. It's on the. Once they go on it, they would see the deadline. So let me be very specific. July 30. So the submission deadline is July 30.
July 30? That's a long time in the future. Okay. I thought.
Yeah, we're giving them time. We don't want to hear any excuses.
We are giving them time because I want to see how, aside them just submitting, because this is a new space. I have to admit that this will be like a new territory for them, because normally they just submit. So I want to see how we can engage this.
Okay.
And yeah, they would need time. I would be honest. You cannot tell them 4 weeks and they're like, so I want to see how I can give them time to research silhouette, research their textiles, research whatever they want to come up with, because it will take a lot of research. They'll research, create, and then see how they can engage with the smart contracts, because they have to be able to keep their ownership.
They have to be the ones who means
keep ownership of whatever they're. Yes. So that would take a lot of walking them through it. So
I think.
I don't know. I think I should add you to
just...
our WhatsApp community, so that in case they have any questions, or if we need to organize another seminar, we should be able to do that. To basically hold their hands in doing this, because this would be like the first.
Yeah, that sounds actually like a good idea. Maybe you add me. I also think, we can, let's have them first finish up the creation, because the creation still means we have to maybe render it, right, for them, because I want to assume the rendering part will not be so easy for everyone to do by themselves. And also you want to tell a story. So you might want to make sure you have an environment in which we render this, right? All of these things.
Oh, okay.
It could be a good idea. I know Sogan and Astaran are doing that for their fashion editorial, to keep it very cohesive, almost like a real world photo shoot. Right?
Yeah, like a
nice.
Okay. Right, and I can definitely also help with that in the sense of rendering resources or stuff like this. So it doesn't become too heavy on their ends, because that's always a problem in the Alana community, that at some point it's too heavy for the computers to do it by themselves. Anyways, that sounds good. I think we reached a good point, so I'm going to let people go. We're also past top of the hour. Thank you guys for joining out there and listening in.
Do you think we should reduce the deadline time maybe to June 30 or July 30?
Bring it closer.
Should we bring it closer?
I think make it really about the creative asset, and then make it a little bit shorter. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I think that's better. But yeah, anyway, thank you guys for listening. You please stay in here for a second longer, and don't run anywhere, Irene. I already see you taking off again. And and anyway, this was a fun first webinar of the season. I feel like I'm in a British movie talking about seasons. I see you soon for the next one. We're still deciding on the next topic. So if you have anything that you want specifically to know more about, that's a little bit more Web3 or nerdy, and we can help with it, then reach out in our Telegram. And we will get back to you and probably just make a webinar about it. So bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you for coming.
Bye. Thank you so much, Stella. Thank you, Havo. Thank you, Eric.
Eric.